Bum bum ba-dum dum dum da 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 da. Yes, wizards and witches, muggles and no-mages of all ages. The second chapter of JK Rowling's Fantastic Beasts saga has finally arrived, so let's talk about it. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. So Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald is a sequel to Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Came out 2 years ago and I really loved it. I thought it was a welcome return to JK Rowling's Wizarding World. And of course the plot twist at the end of that movie was that Percival Graves was actually Gellert Grindelwald in disguise. So now Gellert Grindelwald, played by Johnny Depp, is gathering his followers because he has a dark plan. So Albus Dumbledore recruits Newt Scamander to go find him and stop him. That's the basic story of this film in a nutshell. But there are a lot of things going on in this movie, a lot of characters to keep up with. This is a complicated movie, to be sure. And yeah, this review might be a little painful for me because, as you know, I am an enormous Potterhead. I'm a huge fan. I'm finally rereading the books. I got a dozen prop wands from the movies. This is Newt Scamander's wand. I am constantly enchanted by this world that JK Rowling has created. But I gotta say, this movie was not the best Wizarding World film I've ever seen. I'm not saying it was bad. I didn't hate it. This movie is still miles better than Half-Blood Prince. That movie can die. Alright, let's break this movie down, huh? Newt Scamander, played by Eddie Redmayne, is still very much the main character here. And I still love him, you know? He's still very shy around people, but his creatures, his fantastic beasts, they shine in this movie. And his relationship with them, I still like how it's being done. I mean, come on, that Niffler is just adorable. I want to hug that Niffler. I just want to squeeze that Niffler, be like, it's so cute. Come on, you know you do too. Of course, one of the biggest things that was advertised about this movie is Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore. I still think he was great casting. I love him in the role, but the truth is, he's not in the movie that much. To me, that's fine because I know we will see more of him in the future movies to come. For now, we just get a taste of who Dumbledore is, where he is at this point in his life, what his viewpoints are on certain things, and I loved it. Every time Dumbledore was on screen, he stole the scene. But my friends, he was not the only scene stealer in this movie. Johnny Depp as Gellert Grindelwald, I loved him. And here's why. See, Grindelwald was a very seductive dark wizard. What I mean by that is, he had a way of using that silver tongue of his to persuade wizards to join his cause. But his intentions are like, he reminded me of Thanos in that he doesn't see himself as like a ruler or a truly evil person. He more or less sees himself as a savior. The whole motto or slogan for his cause, and you Potterheads already know this, is for the greater good. He believes what he's doing is right, and that makes a pretty good villain. Lita Lestrange also comes into the picture. She's played by Zoe Kravitz. I liked her character in the movie, but I didn't really feel that she was too important to the overall story. I can't really go into more detail without spoiling this film, so I'm not going to. And of course, you know, the rest of the crew from the first movie, Jacob, Tina, and Queenie, they're not as prominent in this film as they were in the first one, which makes sense because there are bigger things going on here. But I mean, Jacob and Queenie, they were fan favorites in the first one. I love both those characters, and they just don't really seem as relevant in this one. Again, because there are a lot of things going on here. Frankly, it gave me a headache. One thing I gotta say about this movie is that it's a lot darker and a lot more intense than the last one, which to be honest is kind of culture shockish because the first one was so like lighthearted and fun. The tonal shift from the first one to this one is so drastic and quick. See, the Harry Potter movies, they got gradually darker as the series went on, which makes sense because, you know, kids were getting older. This one is like, oh, the first one was fun, boom, now we got instant darkness and despair. I think that's going to be one of the biggest complaints about this movie from a lot of people. It is just nothing like the first one. Relationships are tested. You feel like people could actually die. People are in danger. I mean, I like the dark tone of this film. I like it when things go from, oh, this is light and fun to, oh, people are gonna die. But there is fan service galore in this movie. My God. And again, I'm kind of torn on this because, again, I'm a fan. So part of me was going, ooh, look at that, look at that. I know what that is. I know what that is. But then the other part of me was like, this is kind of reminding me of the Star Wars prequels. Hold on. I'm saying this movie reminded me of the Star Wars prequels because there's a lot of fan service in it. Again, this is not a bad movie. Those prequels were bullshit. This movie actually had some substance to it. A lot of things happen in this movie. They're important things, but they're little things. See, this movie has to be seen as part of a larger narrative in order to be fully appreciated. That's how I feel. This is chapter 2 in a 5-chapter movie saga. In that, I gotta give credit to JK Rowling. She's like, the best is yet to come. So in that, I can kind of let this movie slide. Well, not let it slide, but bump it up, because when this saga is complete in, you know, however many years' time, you can look back at this chapter and be like, oh, that is completely relevant. Or not, who knows. But because this is part of a larger narrative, for a 2 hour and 15-minute movie, it's drawn out, and I gotta say the pacing is pretty slow. I was never bored because I'm a fan, but I just noticed, like, there are things that are going on, and when it was over, I was like, yeah, alright, Harry Potter, Wizarding World, Fantastic Beasts, woohoo, fanboyism. But then I got home from the movie, and I really started deconstructing it in my head, and I realized nothing really huge happened. Like, this movie didn't break any ground for the Wizarding World. What it did was set up the actual narrative of the series by establishing the villain, by establishing the actual protagonist. Now, hopefully, in the next one, we can pick up the pace and actually get some shit going. Again, this film is part of a larger narrative, but judging this movie alone by itself, it's not perfect. I didn't like this one as much as the first one. The score was done once again by James Newton Howard, and once again, it's great. And in my review of the first one, I said there wasn't really a main theme. I officially take that back because there is a main theme. I thought it was the Makusa theme, but then I read interviews with James Newton Howard and he said, yeah, that's the actual main theme of the entire series. So I'm like, alright, it's a great main theme. And there are new musical cues that I really liked in this film. And Dumbledore's theme. I love Dumbledore's theme. You don't hear it too much because, again, Dumbledore's not in the movie that much. But it's great. It's very elegant. I just love it. So in the end, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald was good. It was slow, but the fan in me knows that it's part of a bigger story, so I'm allowing that to be okay. I still love the characters. Johnny Depp kills it as Gellert Grindelwald. I like Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore. I can't wait to see more of him. I still love Eddie Redmayne as Newt Scamander. The visual effects in this movie were awesome too. I thought they were good in the last one. They were not as great as they were in this one. And the music was great too. For Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, I will say, wait until this movie's at a discount theater, then go see it. Which breaks my heart, it truly does. It's worth seeing if you're a Wizarding World fan, but if you're not, then you might not like this movie. Here's hoping the series gets better from here on out. We got 3 more to go. So Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, have you seen it and how does it compare to the first one for you? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.